love a parade. The tramping of feet, I love every beat I hear of a drum. I love a parade. When I hear a band, I just want to stand and cheer as they come. That rat-a-tat-tat, the blare of a horn. That rat-a-tat-tat.
Welcome to Sports Beat KC, the Kansas City Star's daily sports podcast presented by Big O Tires. It's Wednesday, February 5th, and I'm your host, Blair Kerkhoff. Tens of thousands lined Grand in downtown Kansas City to watch a parade of the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs ride or walk by, or in the case of Patrick Mahomes, stop and play catch with fans from the back of a double-decker bus. All sports champions hold victory parades, and today's was Kansas City's turn. The route was about the same as the Royals took after winning the 2015 World Series. It ended at Union Station, where Missouri Governor Mike Parson, Jackson County Executive Frank White, the former Royals second baseman, owner Clark Hunt, team president Mark Donovan, and general manager Brett Veach took the microphone to celebrate the Super Bowl triumph. And then the fans got the players, and the show was brief but entertaining. We'll go in order in which the players appeared, saving the signature moment for last. First, you'll hear Andy Reid, who all but promised the Chiefs would be on the same stage next season. I thought that was a bold proclamation. Next up is Mahomes, who's about to lose his voice, you'll notice. Finally, it's Travis Kelce, and well, you're just going to have to hear him for yourself. It was a trip. After a break, the Stars' Vahe Gregornia and Sam McDowell joined me in a discussion of what we saw and heard. The three of us were atop a roof of Messenger Coffee across the street from the Star building watching the parade. But first, let's hear what the players and Reid had to say.
Hey, Kansas City, baby. We love you. How about a hand for these guys right here, huh? Hey, let's give them one, a little bit of that. How about the Chiefs on 3? 1, 2, 3. How about those Chiefs? Hey. All right, so listen, we appreciate everything that you did for us. The support's been phenomenal. This parade is second to none, man. It's the best in the NFL right here. You should be proud of yourselves. So listen, one more thing is next year we're coming right back here. One more time, baby. One more time.
Y'all gonna have to stay with me. My voice is already almost gone, and y'all know I don't have too much already. When I became the starter for Kansas City, the first thing I wanted to do was bring the Lamar Hunt trophy back to Kansas City, back to this organization. And the second most important thing I wanted to do was get the Lombardi trophy for the greatest coach of all time, Andy Reid, baby. This season, the adversity we deal with the injuries, my knee was in the side of my leg, but we still went back and we won the Super Bowl. We the champs, baby. Hey, credit to my teammates. We did this thing. And I'm going to leave the best for my boy Travis Kelce, who's going last. Love y'all. Thank you.
Can you dig it? I just want to say I love y'all. I love this team. Woo! I'm wearing about half the beers I've been trying to drink, baby. It's been a long time coming, because what did we do? We had to fight for our right to party! I don't know if you see this belt, but man, this belt got something on it. It's got the heavyweight champions of the world, baby. The heavyweight champions of the world. That memorial up there, I see everybody up there in that memorial. Don't nobody know we represent and honor every single veteran that went to war for us in World War I. What's good? What's good right here in the heart of America? Right here in the heart of America. 21 years. How about that? I'm going to walk this walk. How about 21 years? Y'all know what that means? Everybody here is thinking, oh, that's when I can, legally get a drink. Yeah. No, 21 years. That's how long it's just been turning for my guy Andy Reid. It's just been turning and turning and turning. And what we do, we unleash a can of whoop ass on everybody. 24-0. I ain't trying to hear it. Down 10. I ain't trying to hear it. Fourth quarter, 6 and whatever left on the clock. Down 10. We got Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, baby. How about Sammy Watkins? Whoa! How about Damian Williams? Whoa! How about my dog 5'5" and he ain't offsides? Frank Clark. What's good? This is the most beautiful scene I've ever witnessed in my life. I love this city to death. I promise you, from here to the end, I cherish every moment with y'all. And I promise you, everybody here feels the exact same way. I talked to El Presidente, Mark Donovan. He made sure it was okay with the Clark family, everybody involved. Because of this season, because of y'all. Every single touchdown, every single point we score at Arrowhead is going to end with the anthem. And y'all got to help me say it right here one last time for 2019, 2020 World Champions. You got to fight for your right to party. Believe it. I love y'all.
Our biggest tire sale of the year happening now at Big O Tires. Buy 2 tires, get 2 free on select tires in stock. That's 2 tires free when you buy an alignment and tire protection package. That's 50% off tires at Big O Tires. It's going on now, but it all ends soon. Buy 2 tires, get 2 free at all participating Big O Tires.
Installation additional plus shop fee of up to 10% of non-discounted retail price, not to exceed $35. Hurry, sale ends Monday, President's Day.
Hey, it's Blair. Hey, we have a special subscription offer for SportsBeat KC listeners, unlimited digital access to the Kansas City Star's award-winning sports coverage. Sign up now for 1 year of Sports Pass for access to all the sports news, features, and columns we have to offer. And it's only $30. That's a 40% savings off our regular rate. For your convenience, your subscription will automatically renew after the initial term at $50 unless you tell us to cancel. A lot of subscription services won't tell you that. They'll just sneak it on there. We just told you. Your subscription helps support the sports coverage of kansascity.com and the Kansas City Star. Please visit kansascity.com/sportsbeatkc offer to get this special offer. And as always, thanks for listening. Where we're sitting right now, if I lean back in my chair, I can look at the building which we stood atop and delivered commentary on the parade. It might take all of, I don't know, a minute to walk from our building to that building, but that wasn't the case today.
I'd like to use this opportunity to bring up some comparison contrast points we've been using. There's been a lot of talk about how this compares to the 2015 Royals. I think this is a perfect pivot point to just get into that a little bit. That took us about 2.5 hours to get to Union Station, but we got in there. We just were patient and
in time for the performance, the Johnny Gomes and everything on stage.
And that was pretty cool.
Allowed in there.
Allowed in there was a key point.
I like that word better.
What term did I use?
You got in there.
We got in there.
It's because we were allowed in there.
We were allowed in there, and we can go riff on that in a minute. But to your point, Blair, we are 100 yards away from where we needed to be And, of course, as everybody experienced downtown, at a certain point they closed even the streets that were supposed to be open to get across. And we couldn't get across. I think it's our understanding they closed it earlier than they would have because of the security breach. I don't even know the exact details of what happened earlier. But nonetheless, luckily we have a genius among us. Sam McDowell sort of just took the 30,000-foot view and figured, let's get in a car and drive 8 miles, go around, and shazam, we were up there, put on quite a show, didn't we?
8 miles to cover 100 yards. And about an hour, took us about an hour to get from the time we figured out we could not cross Grand to walk to Messenger Coffee to the time we got to Messenger Coffee. But it was worth it. And I thought it was a cool view of...
It was an awesome view.
Of the parade. And I guess as far as timing is concerned, we missed probably, I don't know, half, maybe a little more than half of the parade. And I don't want to dismiss anybody who was in the parade. They were all worthy, participants of the parade. But the players hadn't come through yet. They were the back half of the parade. And just as we were setting up on top of Messenger Coffee, we saw a group of players that included Tyrann Mathieu, Kendall Fuller was in that group, maybe Spencer Ware, who had left their buses or whatever vehicle they were supposed to ride in and were out among the people, which right away we're looking down on that and thinking, this is a pretty cool deal.
It was, and to your point, I mean, really it was, okay, they're going to break script. And that was, I think, probably a joyful thing for fans, right? I don't know if people along the route, Sam, you were along the route for the Royals parade. I think we anticipated Royals players' engagement with fans in ways I wasn't sure we'd see today. Of course, they were going to be interactive, but I didn't know if you'd see people off and getting in close and this and that. That was really cool. You had to love that if you had a great perch along that parade thing. You'll remember that the rest of your life.
The difference, though, between the Royals and Chiefs is I may be not remembering this quite correctly, but I felt like there were fewer players per car or vehicle. However, the Royals got, did they get through there on trucks? I mean, they didn't have the double-decker.
I think there were some trucks, a lot of convertibles, because it ended up being a glorious day.
Yeah, so there were a lot of one person per vehicle. So, and they were labeled. You knew exactly who was coming through. Today, there were some complaints on Twitter that people didn't know which players were coming through because the three of us talked about this. I mean, we see these guys in the locker room, but everyone else sees them with helmets on and face masks blocking their face. They don't know these guys' faces, and plus, there's 53 of them.
Yeah,
there's not 25 of them. There's 53 of them, and there's practice squad guys that went through the parade. So there's probably more, upwards of 65 of these guys. And I think fans would have liked to have had some sort of labeling of the buses or something to let them know who was coming. I mean, they sure as hell knew when Patrick Mahomes rode by. I mean, the roar of the crowd when we're standing out there. I turned around because I was like, Mahomes must be on the way, because you could hear the crowd down a block or so from where we were standing. But I felt like it was a little bit. I don't know if less fan-friendly is the right phrase, but I think it was a little bit more difficult for fans to fully engage in the experience. So to Vahe's point, thank God some of them got out of those buses and interacted with the fans, went along, clapped their hands. I mean, some of them looked like were exchanging some beers with them, and good on the players for doing that stuff today.
Well, and maybe as Andy Reid suggested when he got to Union Station, they're going to do this again next year. So let's work under that assumption and help them plan it for next year.
Run, yeah.
Right. That maybe you could. It was a cold day. Obviously, you got a lot of guys wearing coats, as you might expect. Although DeMarcus Robinson seemed to be comfortable as he always is in the cold weather in short sleeves. But maybe you just throw your jersey on over atop of what you're wearing, just so the numbers, you can see the number.
The vehicle, and I mean, for God's sake, some way we've got to be allowed to cover this thing better than we were allowed to today, which was just be a fan. I mean, that's what we were basically told today is, well, go out in the crowd, push your way forward, and that's how you cover this thing. I mean, not to go on some huge rant here, but we've been covering this team all year, every day, and I felt like
every day, every city.
For years and years and years, the Kansas City Star has been writing about the Kansas City Chiefs, and I feel like we were denied access to the biggest party that this city's had around football in 50 years.
It is disappointing to not have been able to have any opportunity to really just be in the heart of things at Union Station. I do think we obviously are able to watch on TV, but I think it's one of the reasons we go to events. You need to feel the event when you're writing about it, and I think we all felt a little bit of a step removed. Although we did have a pretty resourceful way of at least seeing the parade go by, and that was good. That felt neat to see that. We were really lucky to be on that perch we were in, I think.
Fortunate in timing too, because we're at the corner of 17th and Grand, and that's where the bus that included Patrick Mahomes came to a stop for almost 10 minutes it seemed like. Yeah. So we got to watch him interact with the fans in a way that other people along the parade route didn't get to see. Throwing footballs with folks. I mean, anybody out among the 10 or 12 deep could fling Mahomes a football, and if he caught it, he'd throw it back.
Yeah.
And playing catch with Patrick Mahomes on parade day, there's a story you can tell.
I went down. You guys stayed up on the Facebook Live on the rooftop because we had a show. So I went down whenever the bus stopped, and because I did see him throw the football, and I mean, it was this bright lime green football he was throwing around, and found the fan that he ended up throwing it to was not the one that had tossed it to him. And and he was sort of in awe that this football had been touched by Patrick Mahomes. And then as soon as what was the other thing that was different about this route than the Royals route was people perched in one spot for the Royals route and watched the whole parade come by. You had a lot of the crowd today that perched in one spot, but as soon as Patrick Mahomes came by, they followed his route the rest of the way. So when I walked out of Messenger Coffee today, where you guys were perched for Facebook Live, you couldn't get through because the whole crowd from the previous route is coming. And so it took a little while to migrate through the crowd, but as soon as his vehicle leaves, the guy that caught the football kind of hung around for a little bit. And man, if 20 people didn't go up and want to touch that football.
It was funny. You made me think about this. I thought about it when we first saw those balls going back and forth. It was unclear to me how many of the balls being thrown to Patrick were arriving back to the person who threw it.
Well, none.
He could probably hit him on the numbers if he wanted to.
He could have, but probably more like a 1 in 100 chance because he's just throwing in the general direction.
Well, and one of the things he was doing, he was quite theatrical, actually. I mean, there was a lot of showmanship with him, and he'd get the ball, he'd catch it, and it was almost like a rock star. Some might say Bruce Springsteen.
No, not some.
One might say.
One of three in this room might say.
Anyway, that's another show. But did you see him? He saw me. He turned right. He'd kind of point to the crowd, try to get them going, and turn left.
Maybe pump fake a little.
Yeah.
Right?
Which one am I going to throw to?
It was, and I actually used this line in my story because I wrote about the scene surrounding him, but it was reminiscent of him in that Texans comeback, the way he was charging down the field, and then he'd have those same theatrics. I mean, we've got video of it. He was flexing. He was trying to wave to get the crowd more into it. When the crowd was shouting MVP, he's pumping his fist along in unison.
And he was doing his hand to the ear.
Yeah, and he was doing the hand to the ear. Like he wanted it to hear louder.
That was great.
But he didn't have his voice, so even when you were out there, from where we were saying, I just assumed we couldn't hear him. Then when you got closer, it's like he's just not talking because, like, he had warned us on Twitter he didn't have his voice today.
Suddenly he's like a mascot, not allowed to talk.
He talked on stage a little.
He did.
Bit, though.
He did. Not long.
So, I don't think his pouring the beer into Kelce's mouth from above was in front of us. I think that was somewhere else along. But someone got a great photograph of that, and I saw someone's going to vow to make that into a T-shirt.
The other thing he did was at the very start of the parade, he's sitting. So these double-decker buses are huge on the top, and you could tell which ones the players that were on the street had left from because they were empty on top, but his was not. His was jam-packed, and he was at the very back of the bus. So if you're looking for him, which goes back to my earlier point, it took a little bit to be, okay, there he is at the back of the bus.
Yeah.
But early on in the parade, he's sitting instead of standing, and he alternated in that part by us over on 17th Street where it stalled. But he's just sitting there, and somebody threw a full can of beer, and just casually, without, all he moves is his arm and just casually reaches out and grabs it. And then pops it open and chugs it, and then just slams it down on the road below him. So there were a lot of Patrick Mahomes moments today.
So our friend Eric Nelson mentioned that today, we saw 24-year-old Patrick Mahomes the way we see the 24-year-olds. When he plays, he's anything but a 24-year-old, but in party time, he partied like a 24-year-old, which was fun to see.
I guess
he's influenced by Travis Kelce, though.
So I guess he'll be working out tomorrow, though.
Yes.
It might be a few days, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Travis Kelce, so they get to the buses get down to Union Station. That portion of the program begins about 1:30, and I was reminded. We keep referring to the Royals parade. I was reminded just how short the program is. Once they get down there, it's just. A few people talk and they don't have much to say, and they tell you they don't have much to say, and they don't say much. But there is always one that stands above the others when it comes to the the speech. With the Royals, it was Johnny Gomes back in 2015, and today it was Travis Kelce who talked for about 3 minutes. You heard him earlier. You probably heard I hope. The editing out of an expletive, but he was clearly the most entertaining. We're watching it in the office on television, and just laughing and laughing. We were laughing with Kelce.
We were. I mean, you knew he was going to be over the top, right? You just didn't know how exactly it would go down. But that part where he's trying to riff a little bit, right? And he's like looking up at the World War I memorial, and he's like, "We played for all them," but he kind of paused, and then the bit where he pivoted to 21. First you give it a thought, like, oh yeah, you know where this is going. It's going to be Andy Reid. But of course, before he gets there, he's on this. You might think I'm talking about when I first got the drink, or however he phrased it. And he'd already said that he's wearing half the beer he was trying to drink, which is, I'm sure, factually true. It was great fun, though, right? I mean,
it was
just great fun, and actually felt more. Johnny Gomes thing was pretty fascinating, but this was a little more enjoyable in the sense that he was a guy who played a lot and meant a lot to this team.
Played it all.
He was a guy who played.
That's right. His moment wasn't the stage at Union Station. So, and he did wear the championship, the wrestling belt.
Yes,
I like that.
Yes.
That seems to have made a big impression on the Chiefs, the championship belt. I saw Patrick Mahomes with it as well on stage. So all in all, just great fun. Again, as we noted after the Super Bowl victory on Sunday night over the 49ers, so much of the talk then, as it was today, was about Andy Reid and how great they felt for Andy. And you heard Andy earlier in this show. Again, kind of vowing to be here next year, but I continue to be touched by the sentiment expressed toward Andy Reid. That's genuine. I'll tell you, today we heard it from front office people and politicos, Missouri Governor Mike Parson and Jackson County Executive Frank White, former Royal second baseman. So we heard it we heard it Sunday night, and we heard it from many others today.
A thing Sam McDowell pointed out when we did this podcast the other night, it's really quite true. First of all, there is absolutely the really sort of sentimental, beautifully sentimental feelings about him that are, I think, much more than about, oh, he's a good coach and he deserves this. It's about the person he is and how he's touched so many lives. But Sam McDowell made a really interesting point the other night that now that he's won a Super Bowl, all those shortfalls in the past are now something that actually look good on the resume. Like, he won a Super Bowl and he had 5 conference championship appearances, et cetera.
X number of division titles.
Number of division titles. That it just changes the sort of whole Rubik's Cube of how you look at him. And I really do believe there's more to come. I feel like there's probably plenty more to come. And I think it has a lot to do with success itself, but I think also it's his level of engagement with Patrick in particular and everyone else also. I mean, I don't want to shortchange his other relationships, but there's something really magical about this, what Patrick has done for him.
What's surprising is just the level of hate he has to talk about himself in that manner. Because it's not coaches speak. I mean, we hear so many answers from Andy Reid. They're like, all right, you know the answer to this. You'd prefer not to tell us. But, man, he's uncomfortable when you ask him about what this means to him. He immediately deflects and talks about his players, which I think goes hand in hand with what you said. That's why the players enjoy him so much, is because it's not about him. There's not an ego there. It's not a me first, and I think that's why the Chiefs don't have the me first attitude. I'm
sure it drizzles down from that. I've been struggling for weeks, if not months, to try to find the right way to phrase this thought about Andy. There's something about, I can't find the right term. Outwardly motivated isn't the right term. We were kicking around some of these words, but he is motivated. He's a little bit motivated by the journey. He's certainly motivated by the destination, but the process, the feeling of what he can do for you, that's true in his personal life, absolutely, in ways that, they don't even like to make public, but it's certainly true. But the most telling interview I think I had with anybody about Andy in the last couple of weeks was Dee Ford talking about him as someone he cares about you even when you can't do anything for him. Something to that effect. I can't remember the exact words, but I thought it absolutely defined why people have this feeling for him.
He seems to be genuinely motivated by the journey itself. As much as what's at the end of the journey, what you can win. Because how many times have we already heard him talking about next year, getting to work? He said that he told the players in their exit meeting on Tuesday that, hey, go enjoy being a champion, but your first job is still here. Don't neglect that your first job is still to prepare yourself for next season. So enjoy all this stuff. We're still in the week after the Super Bowl, and I know he's not going to have any issue with the way a lot of these guys seem to be enjoying themselves today, but he's already talking about next year. I just think he genuinely enjoys the work.
Well,
for sure.
And how endearing is he to Kansas City that the first night he's in town, he goes to Q39 and gets the burnt ends because he just had a hankering for burnt ends and mac and cheese. And
do we know his favorite spot now?
I guess we do.
Evidently.
He tried to deflect and say that doesn't, he likes all barbecue in Kansas City. But after 10 days out of Kansas City, he goes to Q39.
Well, it is also funny, I believe his opening remarks, before even questions were asked the night they won the Super Bowl, the way he phrased it was, the burn ends are going to be flying all over Kansas City tonight. So I think it was on his mind from then out. I think also kind of neat. I'm not really sure in hindsight. We'd have to ask Andy about it, but this aversion he has to attention on him, it's kind of interesting he chose to go out and just say, I'm here, and bring it.
Well, he said he didn't want to cook. He didn't want to make his wife Tammy cook either.
Could have ordered out.
So
they might have delivered to him.
I heard IHOP delivers.
But I like that he just. I like that he just said, you know what, I'm going out. I might have some attention on me, but let's go. Let's roll.
And by all accounts, was accommodating to people that I saw some Twitter and some Instagram.
Took a lot of photos,
took a lot of photos. Unlike the story that we heard about a certain quarterback at a certain pizza place
that we're not certain actually happened. I think it's part of the. I think we're certain it didn't happen, right? Yeah.
Correct. All right, guys. That was fun today. Let's vow to get some sleep here in the next couple of days. What do you think?
It is a solemn vow.
That'll do it for today. Thanks to Derek Donovan for putting together today's Sports Beat KC, and a tip of the cap to Shelley Yang for providing the audio from Union Station. If you like what you heard, please leave a comment where you can do that. It helps. So does a like. We'll be back soon with another episode of Sports Beat KC.